The Takeover.
Okay, did we start? Yeah, we did. That's how I start.
Takeover.
Now, there's a lot of things we're going to get into. When I speak, and when I speak, and when I speak.
This is the Takeover.
Here we are again, trying to figure out the sound. This is the sound, all right? It is. You can hear me, and we started. And welcome to the Takeover. Welcome to the Takeover. If you're hearing this, that's because you know what time it is. Do you know what time it is? Who knows what time it is? Hopefully everybody knows what time it is because you have your cell phone on you, or some of you have watches. Some of you have watches. Now, am I a watch guy? I'm not a watch guy. I'm not necessarily a watch guy, but you know what? I got to be honest. I'm already off track, and we just started. Okay, but I'm going to be honest. I did not have energy going into this episode, but the coffee's kicked in. The coffee's kicked in, and I feel way better already. And we know what time it is. Again, we know what time it is because everybody's got a clock or some sort of time teller on them, right? Everybody has that in life. I don't wear watches. I don't like to wear watches. I don't like to wear any accessories. I don't do jewelry. I don't have tattoos. No jewelry. No accessories. No earrings. No piercings. No long-term commitment relationships with people. That doesn't make sense, but it's fine. It's fine because this is what the podcast is about, and we started. Do I still hate the fucking headphones? I do. Do I hate it because it's fucking bothering my shoulder? Of course. Of course it is. Of fucking course it is. You know, these are things that I could edit out. I could do this podcast, and I could start right now. I could be like, hey, guys, welcome to the podcast. And that's what I'm doing right now, guys. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Takeover with Michael Lenoci. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody who's a part of the team. Thank you for everyone. Thank you to everybody that's ever left a review. All of you. And if you haven't, please go leave a review, a 5-star review. You can leave a comment if you want. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is. Leave a goddamn review, right? Do that for me. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. It's easy. You can hit the icon in the bottom right corner. You subscribe. If you're subscribed to YouTube and you're watching on YouTube, you can go to the homepage of my YouTube page and then click the Apple Podcast emblem in the corner, and then you can leave a 5-star review. We'll start this week with a new. We're going to start this week with a bunch of different ways. First of all, we're going to shout out all the Patreon members. Thank you for all the Patreon members, because without you, life would be a little bit more stressful for me. So I have you that's helped building the team, and I'll shout all of you guys out, and then going forward, anytime we have a new Patreon subscriber, you'll join. You'll get your shout out the next week. Here's the link, patreon.com/thetakeover. Join. There's different tiers. Just starting out, shout out to Jordan Mitchell. Jordan Mitchell, thank you. Amy Murray, thank you, Amy Murray. Faith Garcia, you left, but thank you. Thank you for when you were on the podcast, but you left. But thank you anyways. Jacob Cavicchioni. See, listen, this is why I could never be a substitute teacher, because I can't even shout out the names correctly. This is what I'd be like, Jacob Cavicchioni. And it's an Italian name, and I like him already because I know that he has some sort of family history involved in the mob. And that's always cool, but it's also scary. Cavicchioni. That's what I'm going with. Cavicchioni. Jacob Cavicchioni. It sounds like a topping on a pizza. That's why we like him. Shout out to Trina Stassen. Been a homeboy, homegirl. She could go either way my whole life. Christy, thank you. Sarah Stewart, thank you. Valerie Lopez, thank you. Carly, thank you. DJ Bonder. Thank you. Sounds like a cartoon name, not a real person. DJ Bonder is a character in Futurama. Sounds like it, right? Debra Jo Hendershot. Debra Jo Hendershot has been on board since the beginning. Old-time member. Been here since day one. Shout out to her especially. I've met her. She's come to live shows. That's what's up. That's a fucking teammate right there. The rest of you got to be that way. Mike McManus. Thank you, bro. Shirley. You know me. You're my girl. Love ya. Spencer. Dope, dude. Melissa Ellis. Sup, girl. Another one of my homegirls. Shout out to her. Loyal. Consistent. Love her. Michael Capasso. Michael Capasso? Hey, maybe he is a Capasso. I don't know. No joke there. Bombed it. Who cares? Shout out to him. All right? Stephanie Lafielle. French. Canadian. What's up? You've been here for a while too. Gabriel Pineda. What's up, bro? He's been here for a while. Talked to him a couple times. Great guy. Up in the Bay Area. Works at the fucking prison. Alcatraz. We're going to fucking visit him one day. Okay? Mark P. Holler. Not like that. Like, holler, what's up, dude? Not, I'm not gay, bro. Erica Larocque. French, Canadian. What's up? I know you're up there. Shout out. She's always being active on the Patreon. That's what we want out of teammates. Noah DeLigio. Noah Lenoci. Shout out to you. Her. Whatever. Shout outs. Sally Goldstein. Goldstein Elk. Whatever. It's multiple last names. Shout out to you as well. Shout out to all of you motherfuckers that came through. Thanks for being a part of the Patreon. I appreciate it. You got a new episode, depending on your tier, coming out this Friday. So, bro, I swear to God, if this wire doesn't go behind me soon, somebody's getting hit. Somebody will get hit for that, okay? This is how the episode starts. Coffee's kicking in. Energy's good. I didn't want to do it. I was like, maybe I'll just do it later tonight. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I was like, maybe I'll do this episode tomorrow. I don't know. I just know when Wednesday comes along, I'm like, I start thinking about what if I'm going to record the episode Wednesday. I mean, I've had episodes come out on a Wednesday, and I've done them on a Tuesday. I don't think they're as good. I don't think my energy's ready. I don't think I'm at that level yet. And then I put it out, and I feel like you guys, I feel like the Takeover podcast, the Takeover fans, the ovaries, you guys are ovaries. I feel like the ovaries are, you know what? I feel like you guys are a weekend crowd. I feel like you guys like to catch this on the weekend. So I put you out on a Thursday. I'll put you out on a Friday. I'll put you on a Saturday. And I'm doing that for you because I could feel the energy of you guys. And you guys are like, we want it later in the week. And that's fine. So I'll give it to you later in the week. Okay? But I make my bed every day, and I hope you guys make your bed every day because that's what we want. We want that positive energy spread around. We want to motivate each other. We want, we want to stick up for each other. And, I try to read all the comments on YouTube. You come at me, I come at you. I don't care, bro. Life is fucking fun. Most of the time, it's fun. This is the shittiest time in the history of life for everybody that's alive. That's a fact. Ask your parents. Ask your grandparents. That's a fact. This is the shittiest time in life in the whole world for everybody. But I'm still having a good time. And that's because I just live in the moment. I just live in the moment and I see what happens. Guess what? Not a lot is happening. Doesn't matter. We got each other because of the Patreon and everybody that joined it. Thank you so much. Everybody doing their part, okay? Now, that being said, we're going to get to our sponsor, which we're going to do every week, okay? And this week's episode and every week's episode going forward, this week's episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Go to it. You get 20% off if you use the Takeover code. It's just the Takeover, 20% off and free shipping. You know what we have from there. We have the greatest ball shaver in life. Okay, there's a bunch of products on there that you could check out. The greatest thing about actually Manscaped is the way they let you advertise it. Okay, They let us put it in our own world, our own world. It's in our own world, but in our own words. And because I talk to the guys every day, they're really fucking cool, and they're supportive of the takeover. So that's why we're gonna support them. Okay? Most ads, you have to read a script, and you got to read what they want you to read. And if you don't do it that way, they don't want you on there. But that's why we love Manscaped. Manscaped.com. Check it out. It's a very entertaining website. It's funny. There's a lot of different things you can get on there. They got the nice underwear. Remember the nice underwear I have? I still use it. And it's going to be used a lot. And I'll actually ask them if they'll send me more. I want more of their underwear, okay? The shirt is great, and I'll wear the shirt sometimes. The shirt's a great workout shirt. It's funny, okay? And it's soft. You want a soft shirt. Girls lay their head on your soft shirt. They go, wow, I want to be with you. What's that smell? Oh, that's ball deodorant? That's ball deodorant. Where'd you get that ball deodorant? Manscaped.com. That's where I got it. I got it from manscaped.com. Why does your neck smell similar to your balls? Oh, that's just a deodorant for your body. It's supposed to be for your balls, but I used it on my neck. Doesn't matter. Now everything smells like my balls, or my balls smells like everything. But guess what? If you have feet problem, they have an odor for your shoes. They even have an odor for your shoes. That has nothing to do with your balls, but they got an odor for your shoes because they care about you, and they want you to be getting laid. Manscaped is all about getting laid. They want you to get laid because they want people to see how well you're groomed, right? Now, if you're going to go to manscaped.com and you're going to groom yourself, make it good. Make it good. You do tricks with this thing because actually, you know what they want you to do is they want you to do it in the dark. They want you to do it in the dark because of the little light. That's actually not what they want. They want it because sometimes when you're down there, you can't see that well. I don't know who can't see that well. I can always, it's bright as day when I'm doing it because I don't want to make a mistake. But the great thing about their clippers is you can't make a mistake because you're not going to prick yourself. That's the best part about these clippers is when any other clippers I've ever had, and I've tried to, I've gone, I go, and I've had those little prong cuts on my balls. Not that they leave like a scab or anything. It's just like they little by little, they dent it up. And you go, ow. And then you feel it in the shower or wherever. But that's why we're going to check out manscaped.com. Free shipping. Put the takeover in there as the promo code at checkout. There's a lot of different products on there. And we are big fans of Manscaped. So thank you for the sponsor. And thank you for being a part of the team. And we love you. Now we will get back to the show. Even though my advertisements are part of the show a little bit. It kind of isn't like sometimes you'll be watching these other podcasts and they'll plug in their sponsors and they kind of like maybe do it after or before and then they edit it in. We roll with the punches. We roll with the punches because that's how we're going to do things. We do it our own way. We're not like other podcasts, obviously, because we're here in my studio. And thank you to the artwork, new artwork. Check out my boy. I plugged it on my dog's Instagram account. I can't remember. It's a Collars on Canvas on Instagram. If you check him out, you could hire him. He could do one for your dog as well. If you go to my dog's account, Wade the Dog, Instagram, I plugged him. But I really love that one. I had another one on a week ago. So that's cool, man. I appreciate stuff like that. 4 months ago, still sad in my heart. But things like that remind me of him, and he's cool. So, I've always wanted like little paintings on a canvas of Wade. And so far 3 people have sent me stuff, which is beautiful. So I appreciate everything that's going on. That's cool, dude. That's really cool. And my transitions are great today. My transitions are great. The coffee's kicked in. If you can't keep up, you could slow it down a little bit. I think there's a way to slow down the podcast if you're listening to it. I know there's a way to speed it up. But there's also a way to slow it down. If you need me to slow it down a little bit for you guys, I can, but then the podcast will be 3 hours long. Would you rather have a 3-hour podcast or an hour podcast with the flow of the ocean, the flow of the river? My river flows so that you guys can drink from it. Remember that? You got to have a flowing river so you could drink from it, okay? That's what we're doing. A lot of things to talk about. First of all, I actually want to start off with a little disappointing in the industry again. So here we are, and SNL booked some new people. My buddy didn't get it, and it's crazy because it's like, what's the agenda? They have to fit an agenda, and that's what's wrong with the industry right now. We're in a time where everything is is booked because everyone wants to seem like they're woke, and they don't want to get called out by the Twitter trolls, by the warriors of whatever's going on in this world. That's what it's about. They're like, oh my God, we got to make sure we hire a gay person. We got to make sure we hire a woman. We got to make sure we hire a black person. We got to make sure we hire an Asian person. We got to make sure we hire an Indian person, a Middle Eastern person. That's usually how it is, because it's better for, and it's better. It's better for culture, and you get a different point of view for things. But to a point, it's better. Why can't it just be raw? Who's the fucking best person for this job? Who's the best person for this job? Who's the best? Who's the best person for this job? See how I messed up the words because the coffee kicked in? That's because the coffee kicked in. But my friend's brown, and he didn't even get it. He's considered a brown. He's brown. He's fucking Afghan. He's literally the best sketch writer of our generation. Fahim Anwar. How is he not on SNL? How could you be a sketch show and not hire one of the best sketch writers of our generation? Everybody, and I've said this before on previous episodes. I don't know if it was the episode with him. If you check out the earlier episodes before this version of the podcast, before 1 through 30, if you go when I was interviewing comedians, when it was like learning to meet the comedians, it was earlier episodes. Because there are, I don't know if you guys know this, if you're watching on YouTube, there's only 30 episodes of this on YouTube. There's actually some earlier ones when I first kind of was dabbling with this style of the podcast, with a solo podcast. But I have audio. It's only on audio of me interviewing. There's about 11 comedians I got to. I was just going to keep doing comedians of all the comedians I met in LA. But, you know, the pandemic ruined that. So I switched to the solo podcast like I'm doing now. So that's the reason. But so there is an audio one with Fahim Anwar. You should check that out. He's one of my best friends out here. And we kind of go into a little bit about how he's widely respected by a bunch of comedians as one of the better comedian writers of our generation. I mean, he's 17 years in the game. He has experience. He has a resume to fucking back it up. And I knew this guy was up for SNL, and we really thought he was going to get it. He made it pretty far, and the fact that he wasn't picked is just there is no reason. It's just crazy. Like congratulations to everybody else that got it. Great, happy for your opportunity, but it's mind blowing. It's like this guy's only an asset. He's only an asset, and he's literally one of the best sketch writers of our generation. It's like, why would you not pick him? So, and that's what sucks about this industry is like when you don't get something, you don't know why. We were talking about that too. You don't know why you don't get something. Like with anything, you audition for stuff, you get callbacks, you get producer sessions, and then they might say, hey, you're in the running for it, and then you don't hear anything, and then you don't get it, and you never know why. You don't know why. You don't know if it's because they don't like your comedy. You don't know if it's like, hey, we were looking for something else. You never get to know the explanation. That's the worst part. At least with everything in life, you could kind of find out why not. Unless a girl ghosts you, which I've talked about before. I was like, hey, you don't know why a girl ghosts you sometimes. So it's similar to that. You ever been ghosted? That's what it's like being an actor or a performer in the industry. You just never know, but all the time. You go out for things and you just will never find out why you didn't get something. So it's a little unfortunate because they obviously have an agenda and they have to fill their roles. They want to make sure they're woke enough so that people are happy and it's almost like this whole town, everyone's decision is based off of, you know, what won't get us in trouble. That's the sad part about this industry. That's the sad part about fucking LA, New York, or any just the fucking industry in general. They're like, what can we do so we don't get in trouble? That's where we're at this point. That's what's sad about this business. That's why you have all of these fucking performers and even actors doing these podcasts, doing YouTube shit, because it's like, yo, I got to just do my own shit. I can't wait for you to give it to me. I can't put 10 years of experience living in LA doing stand-up acting, auditioning. What is that? That's garbage. That doesn't mean shit. You're a white straight male? See ya. No chance. Hey, if you're a white straight male and you're listening right now and you're a comedian and you want to maybe be a comedian one day, maybe not do it. Maybe don't think about it. I'm kidding. I would never. I want you guys to all chase your dreams. And if you are an aspiring comedian, start your own podcast. Start putting out your own content. Make your own videos. Do anything. You got to do it all and and put your head down and don't expect anything. You're just doing it for yourself and hope that people gravitate towards it and they like it. And if you build enough fan base, you could sell tickets one day and do stand-up or, do a live show, a live podcast or something. But, like, you can't depend on anyone anymore. You can't even wait to, like, maybe get lucky or wait for the stars to align. Like, you could even have friends help you get something and then they still say no. You could have very successful friends try to even get you involved in something and they'll still be like, nah, it's not part of our agenda. It's disappointing. It really is. For the first time, I think this is like there's no sports today for me. I mean, there's baseball, but nobody cares. And I know I don't want to talk about sports, even though this is the greatest sports podcast of all time that doesn't talk about sports. But no basketball. We're waiting for tomorrow. We got the Heat again, and then football's back, and that's awesome. Football is back, and everybody's excited. I am, obviously. You guys, maybe. I don't know. I do recaps for if you're a Miami Dolphins fan. I'll throw that in there. I'm going to be doing recaps. It's called Sports Talk, and I only upload it onto YouTube. So if you're listening, you can't listen to it. You have to watch it. So that's cool. But you watch it at home or something like that. But there was a story that I think is hilarious. So the NBA players are in a bubble. They've been in a bubble since the end of July. So July 22nd. So August, September, well, almost 2 months they've been, over 6 weeks they've been in this bubble. And in the bubble, only NBA players, only people associated with the NBA, coaches, broadcasters, whatever analysts and reporters, sideline reporters who are allowed to be in there. And everybody gets COVID tested every day. They had no positive tests the whole time. Nobody's allowed in or out. Obviously the food is delivered. They make sure everything's like COVID free and it's worked out, but yet they still wear their masks in interviews. I'm not an anti-masker. I just think it's funny because they have to do that because there's so many dumb people in America that will be like, why don't they have to wear their mask? Because they don't understand shit, so they're just doing it to spread the message. But anyways, nobody's supposed to go in there, and after the first round of the playoffs, teams were allowed to invite significant others, whether it is a girlfriend that's a known girlfriend, that they've been together for a while, or a wife, or a brother, or family members were allowed to go, or some of your kids were allowed to be in the second round. And then for the Eastern Conference Finals, even more people are allowed to be involved. And maybe some outside friends, but no basically side chicks is what was said is no side chicks. And famously, NBA players are known for having side chicks. They're known for being a bunch of fuckboys. As anyone is who's a performer, and I'm not going to get too deep in this, but I kind of did in the comeback episode when talking about Chris and touring and shit. Like anyone who's traveling a lot, there is a higher chance of sleeping with more women because you're traveling and women hitting you up. So famously, NBA players have been known to have a lot of women that they like to sleep with. Whether they're single or not, that's not my business. But Daniel House of the Houston Rockets were in a second round series against the Lakers, and it was a competitive series. And the rule is don't fuck around. If you want someone to come, bring your wife. If you're that horny, invite your wife. It's for fucking 2 months. It's for 2 months. Hold your horses, right? Don't fuck it up because your mission isn't to fucking get laid or have fun or live your life. Like, hopefully, you're with the other 13, 14 players on your team, you're focused on trying to win a championship, okay? With all these other guys, this guy tried to sneak in like an Instagram model to his hotel. He snuck her into the bubble. She wasn't authorized. So he tried to sneak her in, and he got caught. And not only did he get caught, he got called out for it. Like, the NBA didn't care. They're like, hey, this guy's suspended for the rest of the series for breaking the rules, for bringing in a girl that wasn't his wife. And he was married. I didn't even know he's married, but he was married. And because he got caught, they made it public, and then his wife found out. She's like, what do you mean? Which is like people argue, how does a girl marry an NBA player and not assume that? I hate that argument of like when people are like going off, I don't have an it here, but like going off subject a little bit, when people are like, hey, how does that person not know? Like, oh, you're dating a superstar athlete or an actor or someone or a comedian or a rock star from a band. Like, how do you not assume they're cheating? Because you can't assume that, because it's like assuming all cops are bad or all teachers are, like, not everybody's a bad person. Like, there are some basketball players that are family men, that are loyal guys. You can't always assume that. And, you know, when you're laying in bed with someone and you say, I love you, and you have a family with them, integrity is very important, and people just want to believe that, and they do believe that, and they hope that they are a loyal person. But this guy obviously has an addiction. I would assume he has an addiction because he couldn't fucking keep his dick in his pants for fucking 2 months. Or it wasn't even that long. You don't even have to keep your dick in your pants. You don't even have to keep your pants in your pants either. But you don't even have to keep your dick in your pants for that long, because it's like, bro, just have your wife come. Why didn't he just have his wife come? Maybe she couldn't come. Maybe she was busy with work or whatever. Maybe she had something going on that she couldn't come. Fine. I highly doubt that. He probably could have brought her, but was like, no, I want to stay focused. I don't know what the lie was, but he brought in another chick, which is not only is that so stupid to do, which I'm not in his shoes, but like, bro, you're putting your fucking team on the line. All of you, you're like all of these guys on the line, like all 14 of you that are trying to win a championship. Like, the whole reason you can't bring an unauthorized person in is because, first of all, she's not authorized, meaning he doesn't have her going through the protocol of probably getting tested right away to make sure she is COVID-free, and then she's just walking in. I don't know how it works. Nobody really knows how it works, but I'm assuming that you would be like, hey, my wife is coming for the second round, and they go, okay, and she flies to Orlando, and when she gets there, they give her the rapid COVID test, and then she has to stay quarantined for 3 days, and then they have to make sure she's COVID-free, and then she could stay with you and be amongst everyone else, how everybody could just walk around, there's parks, whatever. So I assume that's how it goes down. So I assume you can't just be like, hey, this is my wife, and then the girl shows up, and they'll be like, well, we don't have her name. You can't just let her walk in, and they're going to give her a COVID test. So I'm assuming it's a big open space. It's not like a fucking bubble like Biodome from the movie, or just like one hotel. There's multiple hotels. There's multiple venues. There's things to do. It's a big space. It's like being on a college campus. Assume that. You know, you're outside. You can't monitor everything. I'm assuming a girl Ubered, walked up, he found a place, and snuck her in, but security at one point saw that, and he got ratted on, which is like so stupid, because it's like, what if she did have COVID and he got it and he spread it to any of those teammates? Those guys are out for at least 4 days. If they did get it and they're fine, you're out for at least 4 or 5 days. The series is over. If you didn't have enough players to even play basketball, or if Harden go, so you're already risking that. So it's just such a dumb, immature thing that he even did. But consequently, this fucking decision he made ruined his life, essentially. I mean, I assume he's not going to be on the Rockets next year because they're pissed about that. He's probably getting a divorce. From what I've read, his wife deleted everything off of Instagram, and, you know, he's got to deal with that. And then the embarrassment of what happened, which is unfortunate. It's just a lesson to be learned of, like, you making a selfish decision when you're involved with other people. I don't know. I don't work for anyone. I don't work for a business or a company. But I'm sure you guys come across those things every day where you're, like, working with 15, 20, 30 people. And when you're there, you have to understand that an irrational decision that you do could affect everyone else. And that goes along with anyone, you know, I've learned this year, anyone that you're friends with, or any decision you're making that could hurt other people. You got to think about that. And that's a valuable lesson to be learned in this situation, and just with everything that's gone in life, and my personal life too. It's like, is to be more conscious about that. And I am now. I wouldn't have thought about that. Like, again, I don't want to sit here and clown this guy for that shit, because I don't know his situation. Maybe he's just, like, so addicted to, like, sex, and he needed a woman there for after 6 weeks is a long time. I don't know. I've never done that. I mean, I probably haven't done that since I was, like, in high school, when you were like, women, I don't know how to deal with this. But he obviously made the wrong decision, and that's embarrassing and unfortunate, and it's going to cost him a lot more than just a basketball season, because after that they lost. So that's unfortunate and too sad. Very sad, I should say. So, but nobody else did it. Everybody else would be good. You're telling me all those basketball players, none of them tried to do it. They would have got cut. Or maybe someone successfully did. That's what's crazy about the whole bubble, is, like, we won't really know the story about what's gone on until years from now, when they have, like, a documentary and they're like, oh, it was crazy. We weren't supposed to be sneaking people in. What's his name somehow did it. Like, it was unbelievable. You know? I was in I did. I went to Denver this weekend. I was in Denver this weekend because I got a charity gig. I was doing a charity gig that was I was hooked up through my buddy Benry, who lives in Denver, and he hit me up, and I brought my buddy Fahim. We went and we did a charity gig that was at this Wings Over the Rockies museum in Denver. And it's a museum with all these aircrafts and spaceships and some NASA spaceships, rockets, you know, and a bunch of fighter jets and planes from history, all the way from the 40s to present day to the first United flights, like that were, you know, that had people flying across the country in the 40s and 50s. So it was cool. It was a cool museum. So and this charity event had maybe like, you know, there was like 170 people spaced out. I posted pictures on my Instagram. Everyone's spaced out. They all paid like a lot of money to come to this event, and they hired a band, which was Big Head with Todd. Fucking forgot the band's name. I apologize. They were cool guys. They have been playing together for maybe 30, 40 years, I want to say. Really, really cool guys. So really cool show. I mean, going into it, we were like, this could go bad, but it didn't matter. It wasn't like my personal show. Like for comedians, if I'm like, hey, I have a show in Denver and I sell tickets, and 100 people come to the show, I want to make sure the show's great. I want to put it on. I want to make sure everything goes smoothly because these people are paying to see me. Now, a charity event, I'm hired to just be an entertainer. These people don't even know who I am, most of them. So it's just like, let's collect a check. I don't know how this is going to go. It's in a big venue, high seal. I mean, it's a hangar. It's huge. So we're expecting the worst. It wasn't. It was way better than I thought it would be. Way more fun. People were drinking. People were getting wasted. We had a fun time. And we drank a lot. I drank a lot for sure. I got real excited because in my head I was like, I was just happy to be doing comedy. And, you know, I don't even remember a lot of my bits. So I'm doing old bits that I've remembered. But, like, my newer stuff, I don't even know how to get the flow of things going. So either way, I go and I do the gig. And I'm having a blast. And I'm drinking. I'm having a good time. And, you know, I know my mom's listening. So I don't want to disappoint her. But she's going to be disappointed in the story. But it was fun, man. We're getting wasted. And then after the charity event, there was a bar that was going to be like open that we could hang out at till 2 a.m. all night that was rented out for us. And we went, and there was like 100 people at this bar. Nobody's wearing masks. Nobody in Denver cares. In Denver, you can eat inside restaurants. You don't have to be outside. So that's the only difference between L.A. and Denver. I don't know how it is in the rest of the country. I know New York and L.A. and I believe Florida, you can go to restaurants and stuff like here, but you have to eat outside. So that's how it is here. But Denver, you can go in the restaurant. So we're in this bar. I don't know if it was legal, but it was open. Nobody stopped it. We were all getting wasted. So most of the people were at the charity event. It was like younger people. Anyone from age range was from like 24 to 35. Some 45-year-old guys there having a good time and getting wasted. And man, I partied with these random people till 4 a.m. at this bar. I was so wasted at this bar till 4 a.m. that Fahim had went back to the hotel. My buddy Benry went home. So I'm just at this bar drinking with random dudes. These 5 random dudes. We're all having a good time. I know I drank too much. This is why I get too excited. I was just so excited that I was performing and doing a gig on the road again that I can't control myself sometimes. As Fahim calls it, I go into bro wolf. Like I turn into a bro wolf. Like I get so excited. I turn back into my college days, and I just drink and I don't stop. I keep drinking, and I identified that it is a problem. I know I don't have like a drinking problem at all. Like I could go months without drinking. Like I probably won't drink for a long time. But my thing is, like, if I get excited, whether it's a wedding or an event, I just am like, nope, I'm not gonna stop. I'll keep drinking until there's just no reason to like I won't stop. I get out of hand even for 36, and that's ridiculous. So that's what I was doing this night, and all I know is around 4 a.m. Here's a good rule for you. Nothing good happens. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. That was always God. This fucking headphone shit sucks. sucks right now. Now it's working. Here, nothing good happens after fucking 2 a.m. That's what's South Florida. When I used to live, I'm going off for a second. I'll come back to the story. But in South Florida, when I lived in Fort Lauderdale, we would go downtown all the way to like Los Olas right there, or Riverfront in South Florida. And when I lived there in 2008, 2009, 2010, everything stays open till 4 down there. Like in LA, it's 2. New York, it's 4. But nothing good happens after 2. If you're out past 2, it's just trouble. So that's what's going to happen even in a nice place like Denver. I'm out, and then something happens, and this kid is like, fuck you. And I'm like, fuck you, bro. Let's do this. And I walk outside, and while this is happening, I walk outside, and in my head I go, I'm 36, bro. I'm 36. And I say to myself, you know how this always ends. You know this is not going to end well for you. Even if I thought I could, like, beat a kid up, it's just like, hey, man, I'm so wasted right now. This isn't going to end well for you. You had a great weekend. You had a fun night Friday. They take you out to dinner and drinks. Saturday, you have a good show. You get paid. Take the money and go home. And in that split second, I had that conversation in my head, and I go, all right. And I walked away, and I was just like, and the kid comes out. I don't know how old this guy is. He could be 30. I don't know. He's talking shit, and he would talk so much. He was talking shit. I don't know what he was saying, that I would turn around and like talk some shit, and then he would walk up and he'd be like, keep walking. And then I would walk away, but then I'd stop, and I was like, I'm not going to walk that far. You know what I mean? Like I still was like, nah, I'll stay right here. And then like, I was still being an idiot, but I was just like, I'm not going to get in a fight. But in that moment, I was like, that was one of the most mature things I've ever done. And I was probably like, I wasn't blacked out because I remember everything, but I was like, I was very wasted. Like, you probably could have just, like, slapped me in the face and I would have got knocked out. I have a light chin. But in that moment, I remember being like, wow, if this was, like, if I was in college, I would have it would have been a disaster. But I was like, in that moment, I was able to talk to myself and be like, listen, you won. You won this weekend. You're never going to see this fucking asshole again. Let's just get out of here. And I did. I did that. But the fact that I almost got into that situation reminded me of like, man, anytime I drink for more than 7 hours, because we started drinking at this event at 6, and by the time it's 4, I'm almost drank for fucking 12 hours. Nothing ever good happens for me. I mean, I have the worst record. I'm probably like 29 for 29 for if I drink more than 7 hours and I'm not with a woman. I'm not with a girl who can, like, keep me focused that I'll be with her, and I'm just getting drunk with guys, something bad's going to happen. There's going to be some hostility. I'm going to talk shit. I'm going to get fucking fratty and, like, try to get aggressive with a guy where they're arguing about sports, or something stupid will happen. Like, the only way I'm going to be safe is if I have a date with me or something. Like, if I have a girl with me, and I'm getting wasted, at least she'll keep me in line. She'll be like, she'll kiss me or something, and then I'll just be like, I don't care about getting into weird conversations, because if I'm just getting drunk for fucking 10 hours, 8 hours with a bunch of guys, some sort of subject matter is going to come up where I'm going to argue. I like to argue, and when you argue, when you're wasted, people get mad, and it always happens to me, and it happens to me still, like at 36. From the day I was 16, for the last 20 years, anytime I get super, super drunk, I get in some sort of argument that could get me beat up. And I don't learn my lesson. I don't learn my lesson, but I kind of did this weekend. I kind of was like, let's walk away. I kind of walked away, and I saved myself, because I probably would have got knocked out and then had like a cut and had to go to the hospital and get like 3 stitches and spend all the money I made, which would have been a disaster. And then I would have had to not tell my mom, and then she would have found out because she would have heard this episode, and then she would have been like, I'm so disappointed in you again. And it's just like, I can't keep disappointing my mom. Now, don't get me wrong. She's very proud of me, but there are a lot of things in life that have made her upset with my decision making, especially in college. It's funny. The other day I was with my buddies, and I called my mom, because sometimes people don't believe my mom's British. So I'll call my mom on speakerphone, and I was drinking. Man, it sounds like I drink a lot, but this was like 3 weeks ago. I was drinking, so I called her at like 11 my time, which is like No, it was like 10:30, so it's 11:30. It was like 1 a.m. her time, and my mom answers no matter what because she just wants drama in her life. She likes drama. Even though it's about her kids, she'll get worried. She'll answer the phone. She answers right away at 1. She goes, "What's wrong?" Always, "What's wrong, Micah? What's wrong?" Like assuming something's wrong. And I was like, "Nothing. My friends just don't believe you're British. Will you talk on speakerphone?" And then she'll do it, and then she talks on speakerphone, and they're like, "Oh my God, she really is British." It's not like a thick, heavy accent because she's been in America since like 72 or something. But, it's still, it's faint and you can hear that it's British. But my mom does always assume there's going to be some sort of drama, which I think she secretly likes. I think she likes to go, "Oh no, what now?" She just is, she's used to being so disappointed, I guess. She's lived through a lot. There's been a lot of, she's gotten, every 3 years she'll get bad news. Something's happened throughout her whole life with her siblings, her family, whatever, or her. So she'll get mad that I say she likes drama. She is a bit of a drama queen. You know what? She'll do annoying things too. Like me and my dad will argue, and she'll be like, "Okay, who cares?" It's like, don't okay us. Let us argue, okay? Let us finish the argument. But anyways, that's just like, that's what happened in the Denver thing. So I've learned my lesson. And another thing about my mom is like, she'll like. This is the one thing I have learned about my mom because I've been ragging on her just now for the last minute. The one, like everybody's always like, "What's one thing you've learned from your parents?" Do you have that? Do you guys have that? And I thought about that, and I used to always hear people say like, "Man, I'll never forget my dad saying this. I'll never forget my mom saying this," and learning something from the mom. And I have a lot of those things, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. And especially with my dad. My dad's one was like, always use common sense. Always use common sense. That's his. Always, let's use common sense. You know what I mean? Like, he's anti-conspiracy theorist. Like, if I ever share a story, I'm like, "What do you think about this?" He goes, "Let's be logical." You know what I mean? Like, he's just like a common sense type of guy. And there's probably life lessons he's told me before that I can't think off the top of my head. Although, the one thing I really think is hilarious that my dad always said, I remember when I was like 14, he was like, "Well, when I was your age, I was a better athlete than you are now. So that's why I know you won't make it." Now, that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite things that's ever happened in my life. And my mom hates that I'm telling people this probably. And my dad will be like, "I didn't say that." And he did. And I'll never forget it. But I enjoy that so much that he said that. I like that because that's why I want to be that type of dad. I want to be real as fuck. He's real and he keeps it blunt and and that's where I get that from. I want to look at my son in the eyes and be like, "All right, if I know he doesn't have what it takes to go pro in baseball or football or basketball, I want to be like, yo, when I was your age, I was even better than you." Which I probably won't be able to say that to him, but it will be fun to be able to imagine saying that to somebody like, "Listen, man, just get that out of your mind that you're going to be a professional baseball player. Like, start focusing on school and what you're going to do." So he couldn't get me to do that, so he said, "Listen, when I was your age, I was a better athlete than you. When I was 14, I was a better 14-year-old baseball player than you were. So that's how I know you're not going to make it. Because if I didn't make it, you're not going to make it." So anyways, going back to my mom, I remember learning this very early on, and I subconsciously do stuff like this, even though people will think I'm probably a dick, usually, which I am. I'm very blunt and I'm honest about what I feel or how I think about a situation, so I speak my mind a lot, and I think that goes hand in hand with people who are comedians. They like to be very honest. Certain comedians are better in social situations. I think I'm one of the more normal comedians socially, but I also know that I like to cross the line no matter what. If I just met you, like I'm going to let you know I'm a comedian by just speaking my mind and seeing if I offend you. I do want to see if someone is offended, because if they're offended, then I don't want to really be friends with them, to be honest, or work with them. So so that being said, like why did I bring up speaking my mind a little bit? Well, who cares? Either way, picking this up from my mom, I remember she was I was in first grade. It was the first day of school. I remember this. Oh, it was because I was talking about being a dick and like how people might think I'm a dick. Yeah, I can be a dick, but I actually do have I have a big heart especially for people I care about and my friends. Like there are many things I will do that I don't mention, and I do have empathy for people when they're going through a hard time, and a special shout out to my buddy Joe Marisi too, going through a hard time right now, and I love him to death. And if you're a big loyal fan of the Takeover, send love to my boy Joe Marisi. He's going through a personal tough time that it's not our business, but just send him love, whatever. Just tell him, hey man, I love your comedy, whatever. Anything like that goes a long way. So that being said, I do like to do nice things for people, and I do emphasize. Wow, I do have empathy for a lot of my friends when they're going through a hard time, and I get it from this moment is when I was in first grade and it's the first day of school, and when you're in elementary school, you go to you'll go to class that first day of class, like your parents are there for a little bit. It's like because kids are still scared, and I remember that I there had to have been a time when I maybe cried my first day of school. My mom would remember. I think she told me times like after school I ran to her and I started crying or something. And then maybe I even did like I remember being nervous to go to middle school or even high school. Those are like those are like your biggest, scariest moments as you're a kid, going into a new school for the first time. There's more kids. You're scared. But I remember being in first grade. All the moms are there, and there's one kid who's just crying, and I know him today to this day. It was Ryan Kinsley, and he was crying. Really nice boy, just crying in the corner. And I remember my mom was like, I want you to go over there and be his friend and make him feel better. Can you go make him feel better? And I was like, okay. And she left, and I went over there, and I don't remember the conversation we had. I don't remember what I said, but I remember I did what my mom told me. And because of that, I remember feeling bad, because I was like, I felt bad that he was scared, and I knew what it was like to be scared. And I think that's the first time as a kid, what are you? I think you're 6 or 7, that I was like identifying with what someone else's feelings were. I didn't know what that was as a kid, but looking back now, I'm like, oh, you learn that at an early age, like having empathy for other people. Like, you don't understand that when you're a kid. You don't even know what it's. You can't really relate. I don't think you can. But in the moment, I was going through that, but I didn't know what it was called or what I was doing. But I just knew that my mom was like, make sure you go make him feel better, and that wasn't the only time she did that. There was multiple times where we were in elementary school and there would be a kid crying, and my mom was like, just make sure you go make him feel better. My mom has like one of the biggest hearts in the world, and she's always just like, make everyone feel good. Even if you don't agree with it, just make someone feel better. And that's one lesson that I'll carry with me forever, that I learned from my mom, that I think about that time all the time with Ryan Kinsley. That was his name. We're in fantasy football together. I don't keep in touch with him, but I still, we're Facebook friends and stuff. But yeah, I remember doing that and being like feeling good and always doing that. And I remember like I carried that over all through school. Like anytime I was with a group of friends that maybe kind of were picking on a kid, which it wasn't busting balls. Now me and my friends bust balls all the time. But I remember like I had another buddy, Mikey, that would like bust balls with this kid Scott Friend all the time in high school, and he was just busting his balls. But looking back, I always felt bad because I would see that this kid was hurt by it. So I was always nice. I never picked on a kid. Like I never wanted to be a part of that. Like I never wanted to be a bully. There were times where I acted like a bully, but I never wanted to be a bully. And I just I felt bad for that kid, so I would be extra nice to him to make him feel a little bit better or more included. So I don't know. That's something that maybe maybe inspires you or reminds you of a time that you learned something. Because at that young age, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what that's called. Like it's just interesting. Last time I was with my nephews, my 10-year-old nephew, he's starting to learn about like privacy and like being shy or something. Like it was cool to see them learn like or like these or grow emotionally. Like I remember like he was like, oh, I gotta go take a shower, and in my sister's room, at the house, there's no bathroom door. It's just like her room like walks into the bathroom area, and there's a bathroom door for like the toilet, but not like the shower part. And I was upstairs in his room playing video games, and he's like, I gotta go take a shower, and he's gonna go use her. I was like, okay. He's like, I'm gonna close the door, don't come in. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna come in. He's like, swear to God, don't come in, please. So he was so scared and shy, like he like they never cared about that. Like when kids are, if they're taking a bath at 5, 6, 7, they'll take a bath together, kids. And they'll play with their toys. Like, you could open the door and be like, ah, and make a face, and they all laugh. They don't they don't know, they don't care. But that was like, he's at the age now where they're like, he wants privacy. He's probably learning about himself. Like, that's just fascinating. He gets a little bit more sensitive. He didn't want to go to like camp because one of the kids was too aggressive and was more competitive, and he's not a competitive kid. So we had to tell him that it's okay that you're not like that you could still have fun and enjoy it. Like, he didn't. Just he's learning emotion, so he's going through all these emotional things right now. At 10 it starts, so it's cool to see that develop, and then think about back when you were a kid and being like, what was I going through at 10, and then remembering when I was in first grade, going through that moment of feeling bad for the kid that was crying and wanting him to feel better, but not like knowing what that was called or what it was about. Just being like, hey, if my mom said that I should do this, and that's a thing I should learn about and be about. So it's knowing that now, it makes you realize, man, like what sort of impact you have on kids or young adults. I mean, it's not even young kids. It's like even a teenager, how impactful you can be on their life. And that's taken me a long time to where I'm a little bit different when I am around my nephews, because I'm like, I want to be more of a positive influence. Like, I want them to look up to me and be like, I learned this from him, I learned that from him. And I never thought about that. Like, when they were like, maybe like the last 3 years, like when he was like 7 and the other one was 4, I would just torment them. To me, I was like, let me just be fun for them. Let me just be like a Tasmanian devil. I'll run around, I'll pick on them, I'll take the toys, but I'll make them laugh. I just was like, make them laugh, be a silly goose. And then the last time I was home, I was more like, how can I inspire him to become better? Like, you know, my oldest nephew is a little sensitive, but like one thing I've learned from my upbringing is like he needs more confidence, and I want to give him that. I want to give him the confidence to be a stronger individual, because confidence can go a long way. I mean, if you build a kid with confidence, he can be successful in anything he does. And I think Tyler is a little sensitive, and I'm not saying sensitive people are not beautiful people, but they're a little bit more. I would say that he was headed towards being more of a beta, which isn't bad. He's very smart. He'll be very successful. But if you can be more of a confident alpha and you're smart, the world is your oyster. So like Brady, my youngest one, he's wild. He's funny. Looks like he probably has more confidence, but could be a little sensitive, but definitely a little dumber. Definitely, my youngest nephew is dumber for sure. He's dumb. He's a dumb guy like me. So, which is fine. And, you know, if my sister hears this, I hope she doesn't get mad. But Brady's dumb. Tyler's smart. But they get too much love and they get too many toys. So they're spoiled and it makes them a little bit sensitive. But we got to build up their confidence. And if I can do that for them, I think it will be better for their life. Giving them, like, leadership skills. It can go a long way. Otherwise, you end up like Kawhi Leonard and you lose 3-1 because you're not a leader. You know, I don't know if any of that makes sense. Again, you know, half of the time I'm kind of just saying stuff about what I'm thinking about and wondering if it's true, and then, you know, I feel good about it. But I hope that translates. But that's kind of what I've been thinking. You just never know what you're gonna get. Life is like a box of chocolates. I mean, that's why I love Forrest Gump. Coffee's for sure kicked in. I was, you know what? First of all, I was, there's fucking fires all over this place right now in California. And it's like, I was outside running and it's like, I can't even, It's hard. I feel like my eyes are burning a little bit still. And my throat from breathing in, from running, like that's crazy. It's like I can't even fucking go outside and run right now. It's like not healthy. So annoying. The world's the shits. After fucking talking about everything, I'm like, the world is shit. But then I think about like I asked my buddy the other day too, going off talking about my nephews, like, is it scary to raise kids right now? And he was like, well, yeah, you worry a little bit, but you know it's going to get better. I mean, you hope, you know what I mean? I mean, if you have young kids, they don't know what's going on right now. But I think about that all the time. I see people with like little kids, and I'm like, is this, you know, what would that do to my life? Like if I met I have cool girlfriends around that I know would be good moms, that I'm at a point in life where I think about like I would just have a kid with them, and we would just be like co-parents. Like we wouldn't have a relationship with each other. Like we would just be friends how we are now, but we would be co-parents. Like we would have to like, you know, that's a thing. That's a possibility that where you could raise a child and he would be great. Like, hey, she's a great mother. She's successful. She makes good money. And then I would be a good father, and we're not together. We could have our own, you know, families one day, but maybe we'll get too old. Like she's 40 and I'm 36. Like we have that child, and that's the only kid we have, and we raise him, and he has a great life. Like I think about that sometimes. I think about like how scary it would be to raise a kid, but I think I'm at that point where like if I did have a kid accidentally, which I would never accidentally have one, but like if I had a kid, would it inspire me or to like do better or work harder, or I feel like it would elevate me. Like you've always heard that, like sometimes like I used to always be that guy in comedy who would be like, don't get married, don't have a family, that will ruin your dreams. And I think now I'm at a point where I'm too far along with like there'll never be a back door. Like I'll get rich or I'll die trying. That way if I had a kid, I would just be like, dude, I want to be a great father, but I also like I want to give him a good life, but like I have to work harder so I can give him a better life. That I wouldn't go to, but I wouldn't go to security, like get a job with fucking health benefits and security. I would hope that I could depend on that through, I guess, a wife or I don't know. But sometimes I think in my head like I have negative thoughts about like why would I want to bring a kid into this world? Why would you want to bring a kid into this world? There's so much hate. It's so divided. It just seems like there's so much uncertainty. So it's like it just, once you get older, the older you get, the more evil it feels like the world is. Like when you're a kid, even when I was in high school, you're thinking like life is great. There's so much. It's only going to get better. And the older you get, you've seen so much. You're like, there's just so much evil. Like with the internet, you just see fucking horrible videos of people. I saw a video the other day of like a young teenager attacking an old lady. Like, what the fuck kind of world do we live in? You're like, why would I want to bring someone into this world? That's how I think sometimes, and I know that's a negative thought, and I know there's more good than bad too. Like right now with everything that's going on, this world has to be better than it was 20 years ago. It has to. We've all grown. We're smarter. It has to be a better world. It's just we're in a time where we're seeing more. We can see everything. Everything's on the internet, so maybe we're just not seeing how bad it really was 20 years ago. Like everything was, just imagine if there was videos and internet 20, 30 years ago, you would have been like, this is so bad. But so maybe that's why it seems so bad. But it just like, you know, I hate to have that, put that thought out into this world, because I feel like I'm pretty positive on this podcast, but to think like, why would you want to bring someone in this world? And I don't know if any of you do have kids. What's your thought on that? Like, isn't it scary? Like how like everyone's born innocent, and you have such an innocent life, and sometimes, like, you know, the way I grew up, I thought this was a beautiful, peaceful world, and you get older, and I moved to LA, and it opens up your eyes, and you're just like, Jesus, like, you know, what is it really like out there? So sorry to bring you guys down a little bit, but you know, it's just, that's the reality of things. That's where we're at. But I know that there is a bright light at the end of the tunnel. Is that what they say, guys? I don't know. You know what? I can't ever remember to bring my grocery bag to the grocery store. You know when you bring your own bag? I was never a bring your own bag guy. Okay, I have one. It's on my door right now. It's on the door handle, and it hangs there so that when I go, oh, I got to go grocery shopping, I'll grab it on the way out. Or it's on the door handle, so I'm like, oh, next time I go to my car, grab that and bring it to the car. I can't even remember to do that. And then when it's in my car, I've gone to the grocery store so many times that, like, I don't even use it. I go to the grocery store, and then I'm like, yeah, I need to buy bags. I never remember. There was one time I did, and I was so proud of myself. With how organized I am with everything else, with the way I color coordinate my closet, my shoe rack, my fucking make my bed, my calendars, the way my desk is clean, the way my drawers, the way I am, it's almost like I'm on the spectrum, but yet I can't remember for whatever my life is worth, I can't remember to fucking bring that bag to the grocery store. It's crazy. I don't understand what's wrong with me. By the way, this whole episode I have not been wearing pants. Every episode I've ever recorded, I wear pants, and then this episode I'm not. And I was going to keep that a secret. I was going to keep it a secret because I didn't want you guys to really know about it, but I did it anyways. I did it, and, I told you, and you'll never know because you don't see my legs. I'm not going to let you see my legs. Maybe you will. Maybe when I cross them. And when I cross my legs, I cross them like a lady because I'm comfortable with my sexuality. I'm comfortable with my sexuality, and I'll cross my legs like a lady because that's more comfortable than when I do the square, the half of the square. You know how guys are supposed to do it? Like, hey, you put your ankle on your knee. I'll do the ankle on my knee. I'm doing the ankle on my knee right now. It's fine, but it's also sometimes it's fine if I just cross it like that. I feel a little bit more comfortable. And the joke is like, oh, what, do you not have a penis? What, are you crushing your butt? You must have a small penis and balls if you're... Shut the fuck up, bro. Relax. You're being immature. This is more comfortable right now with the ankle on the knee. But there are times where I'll cross it too, and I feel like I could have a whiskey. Right now, it's not working. It's not better crossed that way, but there are times when I have crossed it, but there's no rules. There's no rules, though. You could cross it however you want. You could do the ankle on the knee. That's usually the guy way, but you could do it like a lady too, baby. You could do it like a lady, and I'm all wrapped up, and I feel good. Why do we even do that? Like, what is that from seeing people cross their legs, or is that just naturally we feel more comfortable with our legs? Like I've always wanted to be a guy that could just sit with his legs open the whole time, and I have for most of the podcast, but I feel like it's because my knees are like messed up. I don't want, I don't know, it's not as comfortable. I mean, there's got to be some sort of science behind why we cross our legs. Like, what's the reasoning behind it? Why can we not just sit with our legs on the ground? Some people can, but, like, why is it, like, a lot of people, guys like to do this. They grab their leg, and it's on, they're sitting like this. I mean, you're not going to see this. Maybe if I zoom out for this part. But, like, I don't know. Just, why do we do that? Is it a habit from seeing people do it, or is it because, like, we just naturally feel better? Like, like, how do birds know to eat worms? Do they just know how to do it when they're born? Like how do animals just instinctively know how to do things? Is that what crossing your legs is? Or if we had never seen anyone cross their legs, would we do it? Or like, who was the first person to invent it? Was like a caveman sitting on a rock and goes, this is good. I don't know. I can't remember to bring my bag to the grocery store. I definitely thought that would be something that I would go into. Why am I forgetting to do that? Now, are you guys a big advocate of bringing your own bag? Because how many of those do you need? That one bag can't carry all the groceries. Sometimes you need, especially if you have a family, you're not going to bring 7 of those bags. I feel like if you're going family grocery shopping, and that's like, I remember my mom would come home from Publix, and I'd have to come out and help her get the groceries, and I would be able to put like 4 in one hand wrapped around my wrist on each side. I mean, she would come home with like 16 bags of groceries. And I mean, that's a family grocery shopping. 16 bags. Nobody has 16 of their own bags. I feel like it's an LA thing because everybody here is just shopping for themselves because everybody's alone. You know what I mean? You're just like, I only need a bag for groceries. That's how it is. I can fit everything in one bag usually. Or like, for the most part, one bag is all you need. But I keep fucking forgetting it as it sits on my door handle. Even if I bring it to the car, I got to put it in the front seat and then hope I remember to see it when I do to go. And I go to the grocery store maybe once a week because I get food for the week, and that's that. My grocery shopping ability has gotten a lot better from COVID. I am really good at it. I'm good at what I want. I like it. It's very small and quick and easy. Excuse me. Coffee's kicking out now. But, you know, you can't have those bags like if you're family grocery shopping, I guess. You know, I don't know. What's the rules with the bags and stuff? Does anybody know? Where are we at? We pretty much got through everything. I feel like we got little heartfelt stories in there. You know, can't remember to bring my own bag to the grocery store. We got through it all. I mean, and we created things too with the crossing legs. Now here I am, and this is a different cross leg because now it's my calf is on my knee. So that's a thing. In summary, guys, it feels like the world's getting better. Things are more open, but, you know, we're all hanging in there. Another reminder, just check out the Patreon if you want. I'll do another episode. It's just a way to stay afloat right now. Shout out to Manscaped for being the sponsor. Any of you guys listening or watching, please leave those 5-star reviews. The reviews help the podcast grow audio-wise. Audio-wise is important. Helps me get more money from my sponsors. So you're doing me a favor. If there's anything I could ask you to do, it'd be leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Helps the numbers grow, makes the podcast more popular. The more popular the podcast gets, the bigger my Patreon gets, the more money I get from my sponsors. So, and the more sponsors I can get as well. And then guess what? Then my goals come true because then I don't have to rely on the industry and I can build my own industry. I can build it through my YouTube and tour as a stand-up comic, and that's what will be great for life, you know? I do have a couple outside shows I'm excited for next week in LA. That's exciting. I think they're supposed to be secrets, so I probably shouldn't even have told you. But, you know, hit up the Takeover pod on Instagram. Let me know if you guys would watch a Zoom show if I put one on. If I put on a Zoom show, would you pay for tickets to see it? Because I'm thinking about doing a backyard show, and I'll have like 4 or 5 comics. I'd probably have like Fahim Anwar, Andrew Santino, Craig Conant. I could probably get Ian Edwards. There would be like them 4 and me, and then, you know, maybe have my neighbor, Sarah Lawrence. She's a funny comedian. Have her on the show too. You got to make sure you always have women on the show. You don't want to get in trouble. And, you know, if that show would be Ian Edwards, he's black. Fahim Anwar is Middle Eastern. Sarah is white. Andrew has red hair. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I would be checking off all the boxes. Can't get in trouble then if I was going to do it industry way. But I was thinking about doing an outside show that I would stream, and then I would sell tickets online. If you would be interested, if that's a good idea, I'll do that. Hit up the Takeover pod if you have questions or anything. Fuck, you know what, man? Someone hit me up. I just remembered. He hit me up on the Takeover pod about last week's episode. I'm glad I remember this as I was closing out the episode. Last week's episode, I talked about, I don't know if you guys remember, I was talking about alpha women, not wanting to date beta men. And he was like, well, what would beta men have to do? If you're a beta man, what's left for you? There's there's a lot of women. First of all, there's way less women that are alpha women. There's a lot of beta women who like beta men. They're into that. They don't want that aggressive guy. Beta men are doing great. There's plenty of love for you. The whole point of last week's episode was that you have alpha women. They have the smallest dating pool. The dating pool for alpha women is the smallest, for sure. Beta men, you're fine. I mean, there's a lot of beta women out there that want to date you, and people want that. They want a guy who's sensitive and understanding and is there for them and enjoys cooking and cleaning and all that. It's almost like you're a teammate with them. So I think that was a little bit misunderstanding. It seemed like he was a little nervous. The way I was presenting it made it seem like all beta men fucking are done. And it's like, and not every guy's a beta or an alpha. I'm a hybrid. Think about that. There's hybrids. I'm not full alpha. I'm not full alpha. I mean, there's way more alpha guys than me. I'm not beta either. I wouldn't consider myself beta or alpha. I'm fucking, what would I be called? I would be called like hybrid, dude. I'm right in the middle because guess what? Sometimes I want to lay on my stomach and you scratch my back, baby. Baby, I want you to scratch my back. I want you to rub my head. Remember, I did the whole rub your head thing. Okay? I don't always want to spoon or go. I want to roll over and be by myself and maybe you scratch my head. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if that's the definition of being a beta or an alpha, but not everyone's an alpha, not everyone's a beta. There's hybrids. So there's guys like me who, I don't even know if I would work with an alpha woman, to be honest. I might not even be in that alpha woman world. So alpha woman want that really alpha guy. And I don't even know if I could do that for an alpha woman. So just to answer your question about that. And again, for the rest of you, if you have other questions, wish I would have remembered. I should have just screenshot that. But I did remember at the end. But if you have questions, the Takeover Pod on Instagram. Or you just go to my website and it has anything that's... If you go to my website, michaellenoci.com, and you scroll down to the Takeover, there's all these links for the Takeover and merch that I'll make that people are asking. I think we have a merch idea for the podcast, Coffee's Kicking In shirts, which I don't know how I'd do it, but if you are a designer out there and you send me a design for a t-shirt, I will send it to my buddy to make the t-shirt if you are a good artist. Coffee Kicking In. A Coffee Kicking In shirt seems like that. I've seen more than 5 comments about that. So that's exciting that we have people that will want to buy that. So that being said, thank you guys for checking in each week. I appreciate you. I appreciate all your support. Love you. And the Takeover team loves you. Well, that wasn't the best ending. I didn't like the way that didn't end the way I wanted it to, but whatever. You're not going to close out every game strong, okay? Not every game you're going to close. There's ugly wins too. There's a lot of ugly wins. This was a great win with an ugly ending. So that's it. See ya. I don't care. Bye.